Collectability of Magic the Gathering is a hot topic on this channel and amongst our community. I firmly believe that Magic should be an accessible and clearly playable card game. Heck, I think it's the best trading card game in the world, and frankly, I don't think it's close. However, I also think that our cards and our collectibles and the things we are proud of should hold special meaning to us, and yes, I know it's taboo to say on the internet, but even maybe maintain a little bit of value. And while most Magic the Gathering releases really struggle in this area, Modern Horizons 3 has become this perfect, beautiful blend of playability and collectability, and it's doing so in ways that we haven't seen recent Magic products. I want to talk about what's making Modern Horizons 3 so collectible, and I want to talk about the spotlight that it's shining on and other areas where Wizards of the Coast still needs work on some of these Magic the Gathering sets. We're going to talk about collectability levels today. We got a whole concept to break down that I've been talking about for the better part of a year, and I'm kind of nervous for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's go. Now, I want to state right out of the gate here that collectability doesn't just mean, hey, spend the most money you possibly can on something, get the most expensive, shiniest thing to show off, and call it a day. Collectability means something different to almost every single person who builds some collection of some kind. Take it from me. I have, well, at this point, a very extensive collection of sealed product, but I'm probably most proud of my Brothers War serialized card collection that I'm working to fill out every single serialized card, as well as my player reward promo collection from the first Magic Player Reward promo series. Now, these are two divergent collections, or really three. Two are very expensive. They command a high dollar amount, and I've been working towards them for a long time in my life. But the player rewards promos, I'm probably more proud of than anything, and most of the cards in that collection cost less than $1. Collectability to me goes far beyond just the dollar value of a card. And that being said, I still want the things that I collect to hold a certain amount of value. I want to feel validated for buying them, and I want to look at them and know that the choices I've made are safe, they're secure, and Magic the Gathering has failed at this recently. We look at something like Sol Ring, and there's been so many different versions of Sol Ring that one becomes more collectible than the next, and the next, and the next, and sooner or later, every one of the old ones that you may have bought or found fun at a time seems to fall off. Well, Modern Horizons 3 is doing a great job of combating things like this, collectability problems that Magic players have had with recent Magic sets, and a big way that Modern Horizons 3 is accomplishing this is through tiered or levels of collectability. And I kind of teased that here at the start of the video, but here's what I mean by tiers or levels of collectability. I think a Magic set needs to come out and first and foremost be accessible and playable. We have seen a drastic failure in something like Commander Masters, where the box prices came out and there was no opportunity for anybody to reasonably get their hands on a box of cards. And yes, I know we could scream buy singles into the ether, but listen, it's time we accept cracking packs and opening product and stuff. It's a part of our community. Even if you personally don't engage with it, and you can feel free to let me know that you have never opened a box of Magic, you only buy singles in the comment section below. I'm totally here for it. If that works for you, that's amazing. But it's a huge part of our community. It's time to accept that it's happening, and it affects how we feel about these sets. Well, Modern Horizons 3 lets us get involved, albeit at a premium price, not as premium as Commander Masters, but you get my gist, and has a great value of the cards in the box. And within those values, you have fetch lands, you have new modern staples, and yes, the parade of Commander cards as Commander Horizons is doing the Forced Commander rotation. And actually, Modern Horizons 3 isn't as much about Commander as I thought it would be. I'll talk about that later this week. Make sure you're subscribed for that one. But all of these things kind of put into this Modern Horizons 3 package, all of these ideas really bring to light the idea of levels of collectability. We have cards like fetch lands coming down in price and being more accessible than ever. So people who want to fill out a full set to either play or just show off in their binder and say I have a full set of base fetch lands are finding that easier than ever. You couple that with staying with fetch lands, the idea that you can pick up these fetch lands in different treatments. You can bling out your decks, which blinging out your decks is a form of collectability. I don't know how we keep missing that. It's a form of collecting Magic cards, blinging out your deck. It's just something that is often overlooked in collectibles. It doesn't have to just be put on a shelf. But these borderless full art, old frame cards, these different ways to collect cards through either iconic Magic's history or brand new playable cards is what's needed to make a set feel more accessible. This means that players like you and I, we don't own TCG stores. We don't have a litany of product just to go open up and fish out what we want. And we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars just to hit the secondary market and buy anything that catches our eye. We still can have the opportunity to build collections for cheaper value. It is more akin to my player reward promo collection, where I can say, hey, I want most of the full art commanders from this set, and I can get them at an affordable price. Heck, some of them just out of the commander decks, or people selling them out of their commander decks. I can achieve that and add those to my collection. But collectability does have to have a top end. It can't all be 25-cent gilded foil charms, of which, from Streets of New Capenna, I own hundreds, if not more than 1,000 of at this point. It's gotten bad. I know I only buy them when they're cheap, but I love those cards so much. I love collecting them. I cannot stop. Somebody please maybe warn me to stop, because it's getting bad. The point being, you can't just have a ton of collectibles that are 25 to 50 cents. You have to have that. You have to have $5 and $10 collectibles. Heck, you have to have $25 to $50 collectibles like our foil fetch lands and borderless commanders. These are all important levels of collectability to make the masses feel like, hey, there's something for them. But there has to be that top end. Now, we've seen this in Magic's history with sets that don't have a top end, no matter how great they are. Sets that lack some big massive hit, some bomb to come out of these packs, sell well at first and values tank, and then people eventually stop going back to the well to try to get that. Some call it a lottery, a ticket effect. Some call it just, the excitement of cracking packs, just like we discussed our community enjoys doing. There has to be the idea that behind the next plastic wrapper is the big thing, and that is very present here in Modern Horizons 3. You look at some of the serialized, or not even the serialized, just the special full art and borderless Eldrazi. You look at some of the lands that are fetching crazy prices on the secondary market as of the recording of this video, and you say, okay, there's something in that upper echelon, as well as the big hitter, the big papa of them all, the serialized Eldrazi, and this drastic change of out of 250 serialized cards that we've seen both in Karlov Manor and in Modern Horizons 3. And this has formed this beautiful layer, this tapestry of collectability from the bottom to the top, something at various levels for almost every single person to build a collection to be proud of out of this Magic the Gathering release. And while that might not be for some of you, you might believe that your Magic card shouldn't hold any value and everything should be free, and you might also believe, why would anyone collect something that isn't the highest quality, best, most expensive card from the set? But the rest of the community clearly likes to add these things to their binders, bling out or collectify their decks, whatever we're going to call that. I got to come up with a cool phrase for that. And Modern Horizons 3 it's just crushing it here. It's doing a fantastic job. And we talked about this serialized card, and this is another big change that is clearly working and is a serialized card change for the better, but will lead into some, shining a light on some of the collectability problems Magic still has today. The big change, of course, is the out of 250. It happened in Karlov Manor as well. And while I'm a massive collector of the Brothers War serialized artifacts, it is clear that being out of 250 rather than out of 500 and having a much smaller run, there's like 3 Eldrazi's out there or whatever it is, that's going to create a much larger chase. I talked about massive streamers opening Magic the Gathering. Well, those massive streamers are now opening MH3, searching for these serialized Eldrazi because, well, frankly, that's just a lot of fun. I think that's going to do great things for our game, but it's also going to go a long way in helping these serialized cards hold their value. And we talked about this just kind of as an aside. It can't just be, something out of 250. The card has to be meaningful. Eldrazi, big, giant Eldrazi, meaningful to the Magic the Gathering community, and the set itself still has to be good. Karlov Manor had out of 250 serialized cards. They weren't necessarily iconic, nothing anybody really wanted to chase down. There were some new cards, and the rest of the set was kind of not great. So I don't think that's going to be enough to carry that product in the long term. But hey, we'll see. We'll be tracking every single sold listing of sealed product on TCG Player. I'm interested to see how that one plays out over the course of the next year. But all of this collectability news, these serialized cards, the various treatment stuff, still shine the light on the fact that serialized cards without their own unique art through Magic's history in the past are just still not great. Something else should be done with the serialized cards to make them feel more special. It should be more than just the number on the corner of the card. I truly believe this. It was an idea that was pitched to me by my buddy Louis over at Kitchen Table TCG, and he makes a good point. I like the serialized number, I like the numbering of cards, but I think it has to go further to catch the eyes of more people, not just hardcore collector of the new idea of serialized cards. And also, the number of variants is still a problem. And while yes, we did just say we need tiers of collectability, I think we've gone overboard. I think we continue to go too wide, where we have the borderless, we have the frame break, we have the old art, we have the etched, there's too many things on a set by set basis, meaning that each set itself doesn't really hold its own meaning, its own like, ooh, feel this is cool about this set. I mean, yes, you have Halo foils, you have Gilded foils, things like that in various sets, but all in all, a lot of these treatments are just populous throughout every single set that is released every year. We need to scale that back a little bit. We can still maintain those tiers of collectability while not leaning into 4,700,000 treatments of every single card. So between kind of fine-tuning and tweaking the serialized cards, as well as maybe scaling back on the number of variants in a set, and also, making those variants that you do get feel a bit more special, I think we would really dial in collectability. But I'm going to do it here. I'm going to get myself hated on the internet and say, Wizards of the Coast is nailing Modern Horizons 3. The Play Booster Box seems to be a massively fun experience to crack packs and to play. It is the dream of the Play Booster Box to be this balance in product, the every person's box to gather around, whether you want to crack packs, whether you want to play Magic, no matter what it is, the box suffices. And the collector booster boxes are kind of pumping. They're driven by all of this collectibility, all these shinies we just talked about, and they seem to have nailed the print run of this product. The collector product should come out. It should be rare. It is a collector product. As long as there is nothing functionally unique that prevents you from playing the game in it, I am all for it. This is a wild ride. I am excited to continue to talk about Modern Horizons 3 as we approach official release, and it seems like it's rapidly approaching the upper echelons of sets. We're talking Commander Master, we're talking Lord of the Rings, we're talking, yes, even Fallout Commander. We are rapidly approaching that number of products sold on TCG Player. Make sure you follow along. We track every single sold listing of sealed product on TCG Player. Thanks to the channel members who get access to content early. They get discounts on box openings. In fact, channel members are the only ones that are getting MH3 collector boxes opened or offered to them at a ridiculous discount, so much so I'm not comfortable saying it public, but the channel members, it's $5 a month. You support cardboardfinance.com, you support the entire vision of this channel, you get a bunch of cool perks. Consider clicking that join button found below. And hey, if you like this video, hit the like button and share it on a social media platform because it helps the channel grow. We mentioned before we're racing to 9K, and I really want to get there. I think that'll be a lot of fun. When I started this journey, I never thought we'd be where we are. I'm amazed at how we've done as a community. So thank you all so much for joining me today, for having some of this conversation, and for hopefully down below sharing your thoughts about collectability, Modern Horizons 3, and Magic the Gathering. I hope to see you all soon in the next one, and until then, my name is Josh, and, well, I'll be around. All right, bye. I leave the new setup here.